Welcome to your deep dive. Today we're tackling a question that I'm pretty sure has crossed everyone's mind at some point, especially, after scrolling the internet a little too long. Does size really matter?
It's one of those questions, right? Just like a classic human question, probably been around as long as, well,
As long as humans.
exactly. Thankfully, there's some research out there.
Oh yeah, we've got some research for you today. We're diving into this YouTube video by Michelle Kenway. And before you go thinking, oh great, another YouTube expert, hold on. Michelle actually took a pretty deep dive on this topic, even did a survey.
Oh, wow. So she did her homework.
Yes. 25 women, ages 21 to, get this, 87, told her all about their experiences. Plus, she dug up some actual clinical studies on the subject, too.
Now, that's what I like to hear. Evidence-based deep dive. Always a good sign.
Right. And hold on to your hats, because she dropped some serious truth bombs right out of the gate. Get ready for some myth-busting, everyone, because according to Michelle's research, size actually has zero correlation to things like shoe size.
Wait, really?
I know. Or your race,
Wow.
your ethnicity, even your sexual orientation.
Well, I've got to be honest. I've heard those assumptions thrown around, like casually. Makes you wonder, huh?
Right. What else are we all walking around believing that's just totally off base?
It makes you think.
Speaking of things that might be a little off base, let's talk about those clinical studies for a second. With this topic, there's always the, what's the word?
The bragging factor.
Yes, bragging factor. You get the self-reported data, which, let's be real, can be a bit like those fishtails. Every time you tell it, that fish gets a little bit bigger.
Exactly. It's only human nature. You want to present yourself in the best possible light, right? Even if the truth gets stretched a tiny bit. That's why those clinical studies, those are crucial, more objective, you know what I mean? Get those actual measurements, even if they're not always the numbers people want to hear.
Okay. Enough suspense building. Drum roll, please. What do the clinical studies say?
Hit me with the facts.
All right, according to Michelle's research, the average size is actually, are you ready for this? Somewhere between 5.1 and 5.5 inches.
Ah, interesting.
Right. And here's the kicker. Michelle says that most men think the average is way higher, like more around 6 inches or even bigger. So we've got this big gap between what they think is true and what the actual reality is.
Perception versus reality strikes again. Always a fascinating thing to uncover.
Totally. Now, for the heart of the matter, the survey. Michelle took this head on, asked these 25 women straight up, does size matter? And get this, the vast majority, we're talking 21 out of the 25 said.
Come on, don't leave us hanging. What'd they say?
They said size does not matter.
Wow, 21 out of 25? That is pretty definitive.
But it's like, okay, why not? Like, what's the logic behind that? Thank goodness, Michelle, she dug into those survey responses for us.
Yeah.
Found some pretty fascinating themes that emerged.
Oh, yeah, this is the good stuff. We're getting past the surface level and into the nuance. This is going to be good.
Yeah, exactly. So theme number one, and buckle up. This one's big self-confidence and, technique. So many of these women said, straight up, if a partner is confident and skilled, like, that matters way more than anything else.
Which makes a lot of sense when you think about it. Intimacy, it's about connecting with someone, you know, being comfortable and confident in yourself, feeling that connection with your partner.
Yeah, it's not just about, like, how confident you are on your own. It's about being confident in your ability to, please your partner. I think it was the woman, she was 39, she said it best. She said, knowing a woman's body is what matters, because once that is understood, size does not matter at all.
Boom, mic drop. Seriously, though, it shows how important communication is, really paying attention and being present with your partner.
It's all about that connection, being in sync with each other. Oh, and there was another woman, she was 56, and she put it so perfectly. She said, totally, size does not matter. It is the heart that matters, the inside bit. I'm like, yes?
Yes. Embrace who you are. Bring that energy to the experience. Sounds like self-love is pretty crucial in all this.
Okay, are you ready for theme number 2? This one's super simple, but don't underestimate it.
Hit me.
Enjoyment. Just straight up, enjoying the experience, focus on the pleasure, have fun. That's what she heard from a lot of these women.
You know, it sounds so obvious when you actually say it out loud, but it's easy to get caught up in the details and just forget that at the end of the day, this should be pleasurable for everyone involved.
100%. And, like, are we getting so caught up in the how that we forget about the why? But okay, speaking of the how, let's talk about this third theme, because this one, I gotta say, it surprised me.
Oh, okay. Now I'm really curious. Lay it on me.
So, physical comfort. Well, actually, maybe I should say discomfort. Several of the women Michelle surveyed, they actually brought up pain associated with, larger sizes.
Now that is interesting. It definitely throws a wrench into that whole bigger is always better assumption, which just goes to show you everyone's bodies are different, everyone's experiences are different.
Preach. One size does not fit all, especially when it comes to this. One woman, she was 23, she even said, in terms of physical comfort, no, large size can feel very painful. I experienced that once only, and there's no going back for me.
Right. It really highlights how important open communication is. Talking to your partner, being sensitive to what they need, making sure everyone's comfortable. You can't skip that step.
For sure. For sure. And, there's kind of another layer to this whole comfort thing. One woman, actually, she emailed Michelle after the survey to talk about her own experience. She mentioned that size became a bit of an issue after she had a hysterectomy and some pelvic floor repairs.
That's such an important point. Hysterectomies are actually really common, and it's so crucial to recognize that intimacy, it can feel different afterward, and that's okay. Physically and emotionally, there's a lot to navigate there.
Right. And this woman, I think she was 48, she said, I'm shallow. I definitely can't handle anything too large comfortably. It just goes to show you, everyone's different. What feels good to one person might not feel good to another, and that's totally valid. Communication is key. Always.
Couldn't agree more. It makes me think, after looking at all this research, what are your biggest takeaways here? What's really sticking with you?
Honestly, it really makes you think twice about that whole bigger is better idea,
Yeah.
Like, if size was really the most important thing, wouldn't we all just, as that one woman put it, be opting for the XL battery-operated devices?
Right. That really puts it into perspective. At the end of the day, it's about those deeper elements. Connection, pleasure, respect. Measurements can't replace any of that.
Exactly. And, okay, thinking about confidence and skill, those are things you can actually, work on and improve.
Exactly. It gives you a sense of control, right? Instead of focusing on what you can't change, you can focus on building your skills, your communication, and ultimately becoming more confident, more attentive to your partner.
For sure. So, okay, if we had to, sum it all up, one big takeaway, what would it be?
For me, it comes down to this. Intimacy is about sharing an experience. It's about putting your partner's pleasure at least on par with your own, knowing that everyone is different and being open, communicating. If you approach it with those ideas in mind, a lot of those insecurities, they just don't hold as much power.
Absolutely. So, listeners, next time you're feeling a little unsure, a little insecure, remember this deep dive. Size really doesn't have to be the be-all and end-all. What matters? Confidence, skill, and, of course, enjoying it together. And hey, if you're hungry for more on this topic, maybe you want to do your own research, make sure to check out Michelle Kenway's full video. We'll drop the link in the show notes for you. Until next time, stay curious. And remember, those insecurities don't stand a chance.